Good afternoon from Salem, Ohio. The first ever U.S. national event at Quaker City Motorsports Park is the Stars Championship Series Earthquake. And we are ready with a full afternoon lined up of main event action. The Mazda Motorsports Pro Show, free to view to all around the world live. Our members-only feed will kick on with the support classes that will run after these three Pro Show main events get going. But before we even kick things off with OKN Junior, where Bradley Dalton and myself, Xander Clements, will be on the call, we will have all the drivers line up here on the straightaway, as you can see from the short shoot. A great shot around Quaker City Motorsports Park. Bradley, we have seen this track throw a lot of curveballs at the field, and, well, I think there's probably some more incoming with the longest session they'll have continuously to date.
Yeah, welcome in everyone here for the Pro Finals here as it goes. Looking through at how everything is, one of the things that I'm really excited about is just seeing how this track runs. These drivers are all dialed in, and this is going to be amazing to watch. I can't wait.
Before we get things started, we'd like to ask that all in the paddock area please rise and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. And now it is time for the OKN Junior drivers to lock on in. They'll be getting their helmets on, suits up, and getting ready to fire up and away. And as they do that, we will get set to bring you a little bit of a bird's eye view of Quaker City Motorsports Park and what awaits these drivers here over the course of their Pro Show main event that is 17 minutes plus 2 laps. Here's a look at the Kart Class official course preview. They'll start with a run down to turn number 1, a 90-degree left-hander, one of the first passing zones on the circuit, and then they'll lead into a very elevated and off-camber rhythm section at turns 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then a couple of very fast 90-degree corners at turns 6 and 7. Turn 8 is the end of the longest straightaway they will have. That's in a complete straight line. You'll see a lot of slipstream moves going into that long sweeper, and back to the high point in the middle of the facility. Turns 9 and 10 right at the top of the hill have caught many drivers off guard as the grading of the facility kind of falls off to the side. And the back section there leading into 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and turn 16, a couple more passing opportunities, specifically in the run to that long sweeper at turn 11. And of course, the final two corners on the racetrack, turns 15 and 16, that leads on back to the front straightaway. Just shy of a mile, 95 hundredths of a mile, 0.95 in total, 16 corners. And for OKN Junior, we're back down on the grid. The drivers have their helmets on, and we are ready to get the command from the Stars officials to fire off and bring you through the starting lineup for OKN Junior. This is the first of 3 categories that'll headline our Mazda Motorsports Pro Show. The opening act has been, well, arguably the best race of the 2 rounds of the season so far. Phenomenal drive at Charlotte Motor Speedway for John Antonino, only to lose it off a pushback bumper deployment from the pace lap. But then he made up for it back at round number 2 with a crazy final lap run, and again a barn burner finish for the OKN Juniors. But he's far from the top dog entering today. There are a lot of fast drivers that have flexed their muscles over the course of the past 2 days of activity, and they got one final read on their karts this morning, a couple of hours ago for the final practice session. but that's nowhere near what they're about to experience here, Bradley. Fresh tires and a very gripped up and now with the sun out, hot racetrack.
Yeah, as they all get rolling here, the big question for me is going to be how much has the track changed since they were on circuit at 9:20 a.m. Nathan Dupuis will be leading them away with John Antonino in second, Edward Kennedy in third, and Marco Samet in fourth. Those front four will be the kind of station that we have to watch to see how they handle things with this track as much as it's changed since 9:20 this morning.
We go back from them to row number 3, Indy Anderson for the J. Howard Driver Development Kart Republic crew. He has his best starting spot on the year on the inside of Nico Katowski's TKG Bureau Art. Mad Max Weiland, the number 3 plate, the only single digit in the field. He's the 3rd place finisher from last year's championship chase. He rolls from 7th alongside Jude Thurmalaswamy. It's Grayson Walcott, Sebastian Riss back on row 5. Indy Irwin on her debut here at the Stars Series, her first U.S. National. The New Zealander, Achilles Saperco, Isaac Malka, Travis Pettit and crew, and all 17 are ready to go. OKN Junior into the tram lines for the first main event from Quaker City. We're green. All good so far as they quickly file down to single file here. Full speed and full song out of turn number 7 and the run down the backstretch to turn number 8. Let's see if anyone's going to make any moves here as they come down towards us. Nathan Dupuis leads Antonino and Edward Kennedy. A little fade low from Katowski, but otherwise they all have made it through half a lap so far.
Walcott got very, very wildly loose there through the run into turn 8, but was able to gather the cart back up. Dupuis with a great race start there. Antonino doing everything right to just stay in touch. Kennedy third. And right now you have to remember, they have to think about the fact that they have 17 minutes plus 2 laps to get through nearly 20 minutes of action across this track. So they don't need to do anything too crazy now. As I say that, though, Kennedy will peel through. Down the run they go. Dupuis holds on. Kennedy wanted the inside of 1 there over Antonino. Antonino gets the run up into second. Look at the wheels hopping on the carts. The track is gripped up so much since they were on track this morning, and everyone trying to get a feel for it, going through big battles into 5, dives into 6. This is not what we've seen today, but that number 3 plated cart of Weiland moving up as we go side by side, back in the back of the top 10, off the
Edward Kennedy into the wall out of turn number 8, and his day is done on lap number 2. The 169 Energy got a little bit into the weeds and the dirty outside lane, and now there's more contact. 2 more off. Grayson Walcott goes around. Jude Thurmalaswamy will continue, and Walcott stalls, and the motor, again, the direct drive bump stop engines here for the OKN Juniors. Once they stop rolling, well, the engine dies, and they're not allowed to refire. Walcott out here on lap 2. Thurmalaswamy will drop down the board. How about the start, though, for Indy Anderson? Yes, Max Weiland's got a great launch. He's up to 4th, but Anderson in the 188 is onto a podium spot now in P3. Katowski's 5th. Samet, for a moment, it looked like he was going to be the one that was going to get bit the worst in the way they went to turn 6 and 7 and 8. But he ends up P6 at the end of that lap. Isaac Malkut 7th, Travis Pettit 8th, Rist and Sapirko as we follow along with the forward charge so far for Travis Pettit. Alex.
You talk about Pettit, you can't forget about the forward charge from Isaac Malkut as well. Rolled off 13th up to 7th. I spoke to the young kid before the race. He said, listen, I feel like I have one of the fastest pieces on the entire racetrack. He's dealing with a bit of a rib injury, running 2 classes, KA and OKN-J. He said, listen, after a couple of laps, it gets really sore in his body. It kind of makes him drive a little bit tougher. Obviously, you know, it's hard to stay consistent when you're thinking and focusing on the injury you got to yourself. They got a bit of padding on that right rib for this main event. Look for him to keep charging forward.
It gets the adrenaline going, then seeing that you're making up time and that you're passing go-karts. And right now, Little Sizzle is on fire. He is rolling right up to the back bumper of Marco Samet, as Weiland still has Katowski hot on his heels. And again, Travis Pettit as well. Both drivers that have competed for wins already this year in Malkut and Pettit, and they were in the mix. Malkut led going into the final couple turns back at round number 2, King of the Castle, only to end up going off just a moment with a little nudge from Antonino. Here's a look from the front. Edward Kennedy, he was already sliding as they went through the corner, and he ended up, once he hit the grass, just a passenger and meeting the red and white barriers on the outside of the racetrack. But now working lap number 4, we're starting to all find our rhythm, or we were. Marco Sammet around at turn 10. And we have not seen really much spins there throughout the weekend. I haven't seen too much calamity. And I think for Sammet, that might have been mechanical related. That looked kind of like an engine seizure at the top of the hill. Who knows what was the issue, but the BJR driver is now out, and it's another spot up for Malcutt and Pettit. They started back on in 12th and 13th. They are now to 7th and 6th as we see the change for 4th happen. Katowski by Weiland.
Katowski up by Weiland there, going through Dupuis, continuing to hold on to the lead from Antonino. It was over 0.3 of a second last corner when they came through. Anderson there in 3rd, looking really, really good right now. Only up 2 places, but I don't think that tells the full story of this race so far. Only 5 minutes into the 17-minute event here, as he is closing in very quickly on the 2 leaders, was 0.2 of a second faster than them on the last lap when they crossed the line, and we'll see as he comes through where he will be this time as we get another replay going through here on the right-hand side. Let's see here what happened.
Maybe did get a little bit of help. I take that one back. Sammet was definitely a little wide, a little out of shape, and Malcutt following him through that very high-speed middle part of the racetrack, just got to the right rear bumper at just the perfect, or in Sammet's case, just the wrong or imperfect angle, and it sent him around. And again, that spin has now taken Marco Sammet out, and again, that may draw the ire of the officials as well. So Isaac Malcutt can't focus on that, though. He needs to keep charging, because that's out of his hands at this point. Get the best results you can for the checkered flag, and, well, put your faith in the race control crew that the calls will swing your way. For Travis Pettit, he had to do that earlier in the weekend, and KA Jr. had to make evasive action in turn 1, took the cut through to 6, let the field by, and then charged back to the heat race win. And the officials deemed he had let up enough drivers past, more than what he honestly needed to, going off the track in 4th, re-entering in 10th, and now going off out of the lead is John Antonino.
Antonino was able to pass Dupuis. Dupuis now just returned the favor, came back through. They'll cross the line and swap positions on the timing board again. But how long will Antonino let him be there? And remember, this is the final race of the weekend. You need to conserve your equipment a little bit to get through 17 minutes plus 2 laps. But after this weekend, you can change tires, you can fix your kart. So if you need to push now, it's the time. Do not hold anything back. Don't go off of this track and say, well, what if I had tried this one extra move? What if I had pushed a little bit harder in turn 8 here? What if that lap I had actually sent it into turn 9? This is the time where if you're going to do it, you should do it, as that number 3 Kart of Weiland gets passed by the 172 of Malcutt and drops down a place here. Malcutt now up into P5, going through Katowski with a little bit of breathing room both forward and behind, but not close enough to really challenge the top 3, as I would watch for Anderson to really start gaining on those top 2. We're under 10 minutes to go now.
Yeah, we're approaching halfway, and Indy Anderson remains the fastest kart of the bunch towards the front. Now, last time by, Katowski threw down a heater. He's definitely marching up the board. 2 drivers in the top 5 have never won a U.S. major before. Travis Pettit now by on Weiland. The great start for the number 3 continues to unfortunately unfold back to where he launched from. He was able to get into the top 5, and it doesn't look like, at least here in the middle part of the race, where everyone has been strung out enough to run their own line and show their pace, that he's got something to fight. But never say never. As close as they still are at the front of the field, anything can happen. And Max Weiland as well. That front bumper looks to be eerily low and maybe dragging the ground. Alex, what do you have for us down on the pit lane?
Yeah, just to your guys' point, this race is coming back to Travis Pettit here. To his exact words before the race, he told me, I'm not concerned. They will fight at the front. It'll come back to me. That's what's happening. The last couple of laps, Travis Pettit has been the fastest driver on the racetrack. Last time by, a little bit off. Had to make a move, obviously, though.
Yeah, indeed. And the driver that was better than him, the other one, moving from the back, Isaac Malcutt. So all of the major contenders through the motos, through qualifying, and the fastest karts are still hauling the mail. Indy Anderson, a little bobble in 1. He'll pay for it. Back to 4th he goes. Katowski now onto the box in 3rd. Nico Katowski's podiumed a couple of times this year. Got his first back in March, but he has never won a major event. For Isaac Malcutt, he's been in this spot before. He's won majors before, and now as he drops a tire out of 7, let's take a look here at the moment for Antonino. Launching the curve there at turn number 14, and it just got him all out of shape, and as he landed, he was pointed straight towards the grass. A good save, but he still lost a spot, and he has not yet reclaimed it. But looking at this, 3rd and 4th, Malcutt is already there. P4 for the 175.
Very, very good pass there for the 175 of Malcutt to go through and around, continuing to keep the battles alive through this run. You'd be hard-pressed to believe me, but I have a 7.5 minutes showing on the timer, and the drivers can see this as well down the main straight. Every time they pass the start-finish line, they see the large board showing the time left, and they know how much time is left to defend, to attack, to strategize, whatever they need here. So for the moment, I think Antonino, especially looking at that gap of half a second there, was 0.3 slower last lap, and I got to imagine for Antonino, that's a wheel dipping off on the exit of 7, on the exit of 15, something somewhere, as we have 3rd place here going under contest. Malcutt looking for a move, not able to make it stick into 8th there, and will slot back into 4th where he was. But look at this, launch out through again, trying to force the move, just being so aggressive on it, not giving time, as the 188 of Anderson will now drop more places.
Yeah, he'll fall behind Kotowski and quickly go to the bottom to block Travis Pettit. He'll hold that spot for now. But Isaac Malcutt, he could have been a lot more aggressive and a lot rougher with Indy Anderson. He cut him a big-time break there in 9 and 10 as Pettit now takes over P5. Travis Pettit and the Hurricane moving towards the front of the field. Isaac Malcutt, though, again, he was on the inside with a late lunge. It was a clean move into 9. Plenty of times we've seen that pass be attempted and completed, but it ends up with the passing, the driver being passed, going off. He gave plenty of room, more than enough room to Indy Anderson to let him stay on the track. And Anderson, while he could have ended up with a race-ending moment there, he's still on track in 6th. But look at this, 8 up for Travis Pettit, 9 up for Isaac Malcutt, and they still have plenty of laps to go. And how about as well, a new driver kind of joined in the picture here, Sebastian Rist on the Carblos Racing Engines powered Maranello. Or the OTK, the Carlos Sainz chassis, but pitting with the Maranello USA squad. They have gotten him faster than he has seemed to be so far this year. A big turning point looming for the 122 machine at the halfway point in the season. This time around, 5.5 plus 2 laps to go, and the great start for Indy Anderson is starting to go to the wayside. Let's see if Weiland can challenge him as the top 2 remain in lockstep, 2/10 apart.
Just watching those top 2 continue to just really kind of gauge each other out and feel things through. One goes one way, one goes the other. One zigs, one zags, and it's just becoming a cat and mouse battle here for many karts through the field here as we approach 5 minutes to go, plus 2 laps after that. Look at the look over the shoulder from Antonino. Antonino very clearly wondering, where's everyone behind? Where is the pressure from behind? There is none, Antonino. It is you and Dupuis for P1. That is what you need to look at. Look forward here. What can you do in Dupuis? I haven't seen him look over the shoulder once. He is very much just locked into the zone here, looking forward, looking ahead, and just running his race. But the question is, can he keep this up for the remainder of this event? Because it's very, very physically demanding. The karts are hopping. That Rhino liner, you can see it there through 16, is really starting to come up and down, side and side, and it's starting to affect the grip of the karts here.
We'll send it down to Alexander Searle for a little more from pit lane. Dupuis, Antonino, they gave up 0.6 to Malcutt last time by. You can see the gap closing. Alex, what do you got?
Yeah, John's got to go here. I mean, if I'm looking at the go-karts between the top 2, Nate Dupuis is using a lot more on the exit. I think Antonino's go-kart's handling a little bit better. He seems to be stuck behind the Nash Motorsports machine, but he feels comfortable being under the rubber. Not as comfortable, though, as the leading edge Motorsports machine. Malcutt is on the charge. If you're Antonino, you've got to go now.
Indeed, John Antonino, it's you or Nathan, because Isaac Malcutt is moving. Travis Pettit's pace is still very good as well. He's just been a kart or a second behind Isaac Malcutt. Every pass that Ike has done, Pettit's done it a lap later. He should still arrive on the scene before it's all said and done, but it'll be kind of last second for Travis unless we start to see the battle for the lead open up before the very end. And that's again what Alex is mentioning here. John Antonino, you've got to get closer than where he is currently. He's just in that bubble zone of a car length to 2 car lengths back, and you're banking on either finding a little something or a mistake out of Nathan Dupuis. But for now, Nate Dogg has not put a wheel wrong. He learned his lesson from Saturday morning. He's been flawless since he's gotten to the lead, and that's a huge gap. He just pulled out even more so in the opening sector. It's time to stop holding back and push with the last bit that you've been saving up or trying to manage through this race, because we're less than 3 minutes and 2 laps away from the checkers, and you've got some of the fastest cars on the track hunting you both down.
Going through, continuing this battle here. Dupuis in a great position up front, I would say, but look at this. Now the gap is closing again, so able to stretch it through the first third of the track, and then there down the backstretch, you can see slipstream still coming into effect somewhere, and as they exit turn 16, here we go. What is the gap as they cross the line? Watch the timing update. It's pretty consistent, but Malcutt there really closing in. That 172 is reeling them in. He's cast the line. He's pulling on the reel. Can he catch the big one? Can he get the win here in OKN-J in the main event? 2 minutes to go plus 2 laps. I would not count him out. Pettit there, 1.6 seconds to go. He's a second off of this, so watch him as well. We might have a 4-kart battle for the win.
John Antonino looks like he's really struggling with the front end bite on that go-kart in the first sector, and even here you see it kind of really have to have some counter steer and then really put a second input to the corner, whereas Isaac Malcutt, his hands are super smooth, hardly moving. The LEM Tony Kart looks planted with a run to the inside, turn 11. He'll get the job done there, and it's P2 now. 10 spots gained and counting. 1 more to go to get the lead. Isaac Malcutt with a minute 20 plus 2 laps remaining. He's still got ample time to track down Nathan Dupuis, but it's 4 now as Travis Pettit joins the picture. He's even faster than Malcutt. He's just had to start a little bit further back. Let's see how long it takes him to bring the fight to Antonino for 3rd.
Coming through here, Dupuis holding on to the lead. Malcutt and Antonino battling, gave a little bit of breathing room here. Antonino possibly going to fall out of the podium places down into P4. Watch Pettit here. Pettit very much on the run. Antonino looks over the right shoulder out of 7. Here's the dive down the inside for the lead. Going through, and that is going to be Malcutt getting that final position needed up into the lead here as 45 seconds left on the clock here. 3 laps ideally to go here. Dupuis trying to hold on. What can happen?
Watch third right here, turn 11. Pettit had a run. Let's see, couldn't quite get it. I thought it was going to happen there. He didn't quite have the top end speed to make the pass stick on Antonino. Now, as much as we've talked about pace, and we've seen it, and here, Pettit now, turn 16, he's got it. Onto the box, and off goes the leader! Isaac Malcutt throws it off the racetrack out of the lead in 16. Dirt on the tires. He'll be vulnerable now through the first sector of the racetrack. Here comes Pettit, right to the bumper, and Nathan Dupuis, for the 2nd time today, falls to 2nd and watches the car in front go off. He drives underneath them and goes back to the lead, but just like that, Malcutt with a great exit of 6 will be close again. Here we go down the backstretch. Dupuis slowing. Here comes Malcutt and Pettit. They'll blow the doors off the Nash driver into 8.
2 for 1 special. So many times through turn 8 we've seen it, and it shows itself again here as the timer has hit 0. When they cross the line, it will be 2 laps to go. Dupuis here is going to have to challenge, but watch Antonino now down the inside of Dupuis. Dupuis down in 1 lap from the lead to 4th place. Wide, very wide through 11, drops down into P4, loses touch a little bit here. Up front though, Malcutt, Pettit, Antonino, your top 3 here, they'll cross the line. 2 to go signal being given. This is going to be such a close battle to the end.
The fastest 2 drivers all race long are now 1st and 2nd with a slightly better car. It seemingly has been the 129. Can Travis Pettit go 1 better? Can he go 12 spots up from 13th on the grid? He said the race would come to him. The battle would bring the lead to him. He's also had to track it down at points. He's there with 2 to go as they hit the back straightaway. Here we go again, down to 8. Pettit's going to push Malcutt and try to maybe buy himself a little more real estate before he pulls the trigger, but as much as we've talked about the speed and the lap times, they're so close now. They're all consistently going back and forth, dropping tires even there and going offline. that whether Antonino or Dupuis have pace or not won't matter. And Nico Katowski as well is going to be a factor here. He's up to 5th and right on the heels of Dupuis into 16. Still single file, no moves yet.
Coming through out of 16 here and watching this front 4 battle through over the shoulder. 5th place, Katowski is coming as well. Down into turn 1 we go, holding position as they go. Malka, Pettit, Antonino, Dupuis, Katowski, they're going to battle through. They're going to look really hard in through 4, 5, 6. Can 7 be a passing zone? You would say no, but if you're battling for the win here, it could be last lap through, down into 7, down the backstretch they're going to go. What can we do? Head tucked, look over the shoulder, head tucked, into 8 we go.
Final time, half a lap to go. Travis Pettit has kind of stabilized there in second. He's still too far back to make anything happen here. He needs a magical run, a wild run out of 10. He's got a good one. It'll bring him close. He's going to look low. It won't be there. Antonino to the bumper into 12. Nothing still. Final couple turns. Isaac Malka to 15. Out of that, over to 16, they'll fight for second, and into the last turn, it'll be chaos for the podium, but Isaac Malka wins the Earthquake in Quaker City. And a 3-wide run to the line, Nathan Dupuis steals second away. Pettit by 8 thousandths of a second ends third, and only 7 thousandths of a second ahead of Antonino, who just falls shy of the podium. What a fight to close out the OKN Junior Main. Incredible stuff here from Salem.
Nathan Dupuis, Nate Dogg. Wow.
Hi, beautiful run, buddy. Beautiful. Relax. Listen. A broken rib. It's so grab Swift in the back to the podium.
Isaac Malkwit, we spoke before the race. You said you think you have the cart to get it done. 13th the first. How'd you make it happen?
I mean, I just kept my head down the whole time, just kept driving hard the whole time, you know, just trying to be smart, make the right moves, and just we were able to be faster than everybody else towards the end and able to get it done. So, yeah, it was a really good race, very happy. I'd like to thank Mike Doty, Leading Edge Motorsports, Mega Power, and that's about it. Thank you.
There was a point in the middle of that race where you were lapping maybe 4 to 5 tenths faster a lap. I mean, in the middle portion of that race. What do you think what kind of made the difference for you today?
I mean, honestly, yesterday my ribs were really sore, and we just like put a pad on my rib protector, so then I was just able to drive a lot harder, because before I was like sliding in the seat, hitting my ribs and stuff. So, I mean, as soon as my ribs felt better, I knew I had the pace to win.
Thank you, Isaac.
Yep, you're welcome.
Isaac Malka, Leading Edge Motorsports, and Mike Doty Racing in the combo entry. And on the top step, spectacular fashion, he picks up 11 spots and scores the win at OKN Junior. As they clear the racetrack from the Young Guns, we move up to the second of our 3 headliners, OKN Stars, headed your way for their main event next here on Kart Chaser.
Paulie Massimino wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix. James Overbeck on start number 2 gets win number 1 in OKN Stars.
On track or off, Brandon Jarsakrak Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarsakrak, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarsakracRacing.com.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspect with mindset, racecraft, and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Florida Kart Racers, you asked for it and we're going to bring it. Introducing Florida Karting Championship, FLKC, a brand new racing series coming to Florida in 2026.
Karts are rolling onto the circuit here as the OKN Stars get ready to go. There's so much that goes into getting to this point in the weekend just to get to a Stars Championship Series event. The level is so high, the competition, the caliber of drivers and teams and families that you're competing against. There's a lot of tools they have as well. And our KC data analyst, Lucas Noguera, has been able to help us bring a ton of tidbits, just 1% of what the teams are going through when they go back to the pit area and try to review and focus on how to find more speed.
Hey guys, it's Lucas Nogueira here, and today we're going to talk about some cool features that Race Studio 3 has that people normally don't know about it. And the first thing is how to check the weather between two sessions on Race Studio 3, okay? So here, I got a comparison with Orlando on the Rotax, and if you look on the bottom left, I have the weather showing my ambient temperature, pressure, humidity, and even the wind direction and wind speed. And then I have this from 1 week of the Rotax Winter Trophy, and then the second week was a bit hotter. So we kind of know how the carburation will change when the weather changes. And to be able to get this, all you gotta do is when you are on Race Studio 3, you come up here and you log in into your account. You gotta create an account on the AIM website and just log in. If you log in and have internet on, it will pull the weather from the previous year of sessions that you have. All right, so we got a second nice feature that a lot of people don't know about, which is the track map coming from Google on the background. So if you just connect your computer to the internet, you can come up here and click on this Google Earth icon, and it will pull the background from the Google Earth into your GPS data. So normally it's very well aligned, and you can see if the driver is hitting the apex, changing his line. But if it's not aligned, you can change which server you are using. So right here we are in Quaker City, it's a brand new track. If I change from Google to Bing, you'll see that I don't even have a track there because it's a brand new track and Bing hasn't updated. So if yours is not aligned, all you gotta do is change to a different server here. I've been using Google so far and it works pretty well.
A great bit of intel here from Lucas Noguera of the onboard cameras and telemetry that they're able to pull and how they're able to kind of go through it all. OKN Stars, they had two motos, just like the rest of the Pro Show classes following Friday qualifying to set the lineup. And it's got none other than Blake Nash standing as the odds-on favorite and looking good for their main. Saturday had a good bit of activity and a lot to talk about, and when they went on to the racetrack in Moto 2, which you'll see in our Coastal Link recap of the sessions, well, they were greeted with a little more of the unexpected than just the drivers around them doing different kinds of moves, and so it caught everyone off guard. It ran the day a little long. Well, we started the day with Moto number 1. Let's take you to it here and see how our grid has lined itself up. Starting off with Blake and Diego there on the front row down at turn 1, and chaos for Chase Gassiet-Lee and a few others going wide there in that first corner and nearly getting collected. And it unfortunately took him out, and it took Mason Kuhn from MPG Motorsports out of the running as well. However, there was still a lot of heavy hitters that were trying to hunt down the 64, and unfortunately, they were unable to. Diego Ramos, best of the rest, ended second. Moto 2, though, is where things really got crazy. Gassiet-Lee and Mason Kuhn and a few others had fresher tires due to the fact that, of course, they had the incidents in Moto number 1. So they knew they were going to have a slight advantage on rubber and what they had well, they tried to put to good use. Frankie Idavea was another notable who went out early in that first moto. He and Gassiet Lee went straight to work in the opening couple laps, and here the 31 of CGL was able to try a move on Wheeler, and it didn't work, but he got up to second later on, only to throw it away and end up in the wall, but he was saved by the bell, or at least so we thought, as the heavens opened up on that very same lap and the rain came, and he was allowed to restart in second. However, as we follow along with the rest of these highlights, the rules were then referred back to, and Chase Gassiet Lee was then sent to the rear from Moto 2 as he should not have been allowed to restart. So the post-race intervention sadly robbed him of that Moto number 2 victory. But guess what? As he rolls from the back of the grid, we're going to be riding shotgun with him with the Coastal Link printing on board for Chase Gassiet Lee. So tail end of the field, starting right behind Austin Olds, who as well wasn't shown in Moto 2 because he didn't make it off the grid for that restart. He and the MPG Motorsports crew still had some fire-off issues when they were trying to get away in the warm-up this morning, and that'll be a moment to check out as well. A huge thank you to Black Void Media, and well, Chase Gassiet Lee, firing some bows in the skies. He's fired up, he's in a good mood, and needs to be. He's got a fast piece, but a lot of work ahead of him to join another blue and black machine, his former teammate in Blake Nash, who is getting ready to get the command from our head grid marshal, Justin Newcomb, alongside Diego Ramos and PSL Karting with the front row. Austin Olds and MPG Motorsports just ahead of CGL. They'll be looking to try and go as well towards the front. The speed has been solid for Olds. He was really quick at Newcastle for round number 2. Not as good, but still, I'd say good so far when the motor's been able to fire, but we've got problems again. They're still trying to get the number 50 machine to fire off. Down to turn number 1 and a few more. James Overbeck, also an issue. He could not get off the grid in the warm-up. Same two drivers that have struggled to get the engines to fire. Olds is away, Overbeck is not. They have limited time to try one more effort at getting the car to go. So here we are, one more shot at it. They're gonna try and spin the axle, get a little bit through, and see if they can get it from locking up, but I don't know. They're gonna run tight on the timer. Let's see, the BJR crew, our round 1 winner, a podium at Newcastle. Can James Overbeck get the machine to fire away, or will we be down 1 before the start? And I think we are. Heartbreaker, a disaster for the Brandon Jarsa Racing LN kart of James Overbeck and last year's KA champ. And the round 1 winner is out, and the field are already set to go into the trim lines. Blake Nash, Diego Ramos, OKN Stars for the Earthquake. We're green. Everyone else able to make it through those opening couple of corners. A bit of changing up front here. Great start for Paulie Massimino in the number 40. And last year's OKN Stars champ is already going to work on Ramos to the inside. No, not in 2. There was one of the JHCD cars that went off in the middle of the field. It would have either been Kyler Cheatham or Maverick McKenna. I think it might have been McKenna. But as we ride on board with Chase Gassiet Lee, look at this, and you can see the elevation and the vibration of the bumps as they roll through that infield sector and towards the back. He's already hunting another one, working the back of what appears to be maybe the 95 of Alex Sharma, who did not get a good start, over to 11. And you can see here on the side, the drone cam showing James Overbeck moving over to the the pit out lane, and a frustrated, understandably so, number 48. He's gonna have to watch the entirety of this main from the sidelines, Bradley.
That is heartbreaking for the 48 going through, but I tell you what, Gassiet Lee already up to 12th right off the run, now chasing down Sarathi. They're in P11 in the 52 up front. We continue to watch Blake Nash do what Blake Nash does, which is run up front and try to keep it moving up front there. Watch second place swap there. Massimino now moving through. Paulie Massimino, that's a name to keep an eye on, because if anyone can take on Blake Nash, I'm going to tell you right now, Paulie Massimino is one of the many who can do that, as the 48 is going through the end of what should be out. And that is, I mean, you could see the defeat, the heartbreak, just issues all weekend getting the kart going, getting the kart firing, and ultimately spoiling the weekend.
Let's go down to Alexander Searle. He has James Overbeck with him as he's gotten behind the wall. 2 laps in the books now. Blake Nash leads the way to Massimino and Ramos.
Xander, James, obviously we know the issue that happened. What are your emotions right now? You enter the weekend points leader. You don't even make it out for the main.
Yeah, it's disappointing. It's kind of how the last 3 weeks have felt. Just disappointing result after disappointing result. It sucks. Obviously, we were in really good points positions in almost all the series, and now 2 bad weekends and puts me in a hole. So it sucks, but I'll just at the last round just have to go get it done.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
While we were side by side here with Overbeck on the right side of your screen, you witnessed Henry Wheeler make a move. The number 18 Mike Doty Racing LN Kart has gone past Brazil's Diego Ramos, and now is closing in on Ramos. Sorry, I mixed them up. That is Finnegan Bailiff on Wheeler's heels. Ramos still up the road. It is the number 21 for Trinity Karting Group, Bureau Art USA on the charge with a good start. Aiden Fox was 6. He's fallen down to 8. Ayadavea up there, and Chase Gassiet-Lee has now cracked the top 10. He's P9, about a second to go before he'll get to Fox and Andriatos.
Gassiet-Lee, I'm telling you, has absolutely sent that kart forward and is continuing to go. I mean, that is just rapid pace being found from CGL in the number 31. A little bit of an off there behind, and that, I believe, was Olds who ran through as we go through top 3. Pretty as you please, sitting where they were, just continuing to clock out the time, put time down. 13 minutes left to go as the 29 is off there. Lorenko finding the grass, able to get back going though.
Aiden Lorenko in the Fox & Son machine now was running 13th. He was battling with Maverick McKenna. He goes off to the wayside. There's a look at a frustrated Brandon Jarsakrak headed into the inside the building right next to the grid and the scales. TV's on there as plenty are watching along from what the action has been on the circuit. Gassiet-Lee got Fox that lap. He's now 8th. Olds as well is still pretty fast too. Both drivers from the back. Look at the lift these guys are getting as they jump down into turn number 2, almost like dropping into a half pipe out of turn number 1. And they are sending it here with nothing left to lose. Let's see if the number 31 can pick up any more. He's got Remy Andriatos right in his targets here as they rocket over to turn number 8. The TKG Bureau Art, the number 32 just up ahead as we ride shotgun there to the left side of the number 31 machine, just above his radiator. Through turns 10, over to 11, and the run in. It won't be enough here. He might be able to do something, though, in 15 or 16. Let's see it.
Look at the wheel hop there coming through 11 as we watch CGL keep the battle against Andriatos going through. And you saw on the grid, he did the bow and arrow motion. He knew his plan was to launch forward. He's done great so far. 11 and a half minutes left to go as they come over the line, though. My concern becomes, is there still more pace to find as he's pushing? I mean, I don't know how hard you can push a kart at this point, but he is pushing. Look at that, up onto 3 wheels again, going through turns 3 and 4, now through 5, 6. Look at that, that inside rear wheel consistently tweaking up and going. That is the fastest way to go, but that is just how grippy this track truly is right now. I mean, it is just going through. You have to rotate the kart and just do everything you can to get through. There we go, up into 8, still holding on through. This is the longest Gassiet-Lee has been in a position the whole race.
Yeah, he was overdriving a little bit there and won, and it was a great angle. We'll see if we can get another look at it when it's time. I'm also kind of keeping tabs on second right now. Massimino may prepay the favor to Diego Ramos. Here's a great look. Check this out. Hanging loose on the edge right there out of turn number 1 and just barely dipped the tire. And that, of course, hurt the grip level in the upcoming left-hand corners. But Paulie has not been able to make any kind of impact towards Blake Nash. Right now, the number 64 has this field covered. And Diego Ramos, he let Paulie by early on, and I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, to see Massimino say, you know what, I got nothing for him. If you do, and you're on my bumper, I'll let you go back around and give you a run at it. Because Diego Ramos's early race pace didn't really look good in either of the motos. Maybe a little better in Moto 2, but his late race pace has been solid. His mid-run speed has been phenomenal. So at this point in the race, I'm expecting the number 2 plate to start to make a run towards the lead. and try to close that gap down. He might be the only one with a chance at it because Gassiet Lee, now having gotten by Andriatos, has a big gap out in front of him. He's a couple seconds away from the back of Frankie Iadavea, so it's going to be a little while before we see more action there. As here's Ramos with a look for second, down to 1. Nope, thought about it, tucked back in.
And Ramos there, I mean, at this point, it is truly, as you said, he has mid-race, he has late-race pace, and the big key for him right now is he needs to be in second, so when that late-race pace really comes in, he can go through, and I think that's just the driving style of Ramos, is he doesn't go out too early, he doesn't push too quick, he takes the second that he needs to take there in that number 2 kart to get going, and then late in the race, he sends it all on track. Now, again, with 17 minutes plus 2 laps, there's plenty of time to really send it through, but you need to be in the position to capitalize when you're there. As we watch through, as Wheeler is starting to catch up, Bailiff and Iadavea also are bumper to bumper here. So that's a send up the inside from Iadavea on Wheeler. That 76 kart able to get past the 21 there. The Maranello against the TKG. They swap places for P5. They continue through and battle Wheeler there, starting to close up on Ramos and Massimino though. And here's the thing, the gap now 2.1 as they cross the line. Here's the pass, and the 50 is off of Olds. Olds gets back through. Believe that Ramos did get past Massimino there, and he did. And now Ramos can take off and try to close that 2 seconds.
Yeah, 2 moments kind of colliding there at the same time for us. Paulie saw that Diego was still on his heels going down the front stretch, saw him poke a nose and waved him back on by. Said, yeah, I got nothing. You got it. Go and see if you can get him. It didn't make it painful at all. So 2 seconds, the delta for Blake Nash back to Diego Ramos. And again, at the same time as that happened, Austin Olds threw it off the racetrack in 15. He was running right with Aiden Fox and crew. Aiden looked like he was kind of waving him back around, and I think he has, and said, yeah, you can go. Maverick McKenna with the moment early has rebounded nicely. The number 17 now on the bumper of Olds, who still looks a little out of shape in the 50 as they head to the back into 11. And behind them, this is Kyler Cheesem and the Maranello of Theo Corelli. This is 15th and 16th together with a pair of battles around the racetrack. Let's look at Olds. Yeah, just taking too much speed through 15, a little bit too wide. Gets the left side tires all kinds of dirty as they rocket back around. 9 laps completed so far. Blake Nash, your leader, to Paulie Massimino, to Diego Ramos and crew, Henry Wheeler and Frankie Iadavea. Your provisional top 5 at the halfway mark here in the main event for OKN Stars.
Coming through, continuing to watch there, a wheel dipping off again out of 7. We've seen that time and time again, and that was Gassiet Lee. Look at him, he's up into 7th here, continuing to push, continuing to find time. CGL, with 7 minutes to go, has managed to rocket that kart from P18 to P7.
Oh, one more off, big off. Aiden Fox with a huge moment there in the infield. A big dust cloud as they go wide at turn number 10. And now that promotes 2 more cars forward. Satvik Sarathi and Alex Sharma pick up a couple spots. Massimino back around Ramos. Gassiet Lee, even with dropping a tire, the lap before he was tracking as good or almost as good as Blake Nash. And that lap was still pretty good for the 31. Had the whole straightaway to clean that tire back off. 10 down and still more to go here in this main. If it's anything like OKN Junior, I expect it to go about 19. The skies are darkening a little bit now. Gassiet Lee with a run. Finn Bailiff, I think, is going to let him go down into 8, and that'll be P6 now for Chase Gassiet Lee.
Gassiet Lee with a great run there up and is going to continue to go forward here as CGL. I mean, it's just, again, the bow and arrow launch, I kind of thought, okay, there was a cap to what Chase Gassiet Lee could do. And at the moment, I'm going to tell you, I was wrong, and I was fully wrong on this, as Gassiet Lee will continue to run through and try to chase down more positions here. 5.5 minutes to go, and at the moment, Chase Gassiet Lee is averaging a pass a minute through this field at least. As we go 5.5 minutes, continues to run through, but Blake Nash, I mean, look at this, 3.35 seconds up the field, consistently running quick and consistently running fast here, but the fall off is coming. There are the drops of the tires here near the end, and we'll see what can be given as Gassiet Lee.
Problems for Finnegan
Bailiff.
Problems for Finn. Finnegan Bailiff with an issue, a mechanical problem. It was 7th, and now he'll drop to the rear. All 18 still going, and it'll be a P18 result for what was tracking to be a very respectable top 10. Finnegan Bailiff signaling to the fence line of the engine or something related to the power as he lost speed instantly coming out of turn number 7. Remy Andriatos, his teammate now, will move up a spot. Maverick McKenna to 8th, Olds into 9th, and Mason Kuhn into the top 10 on the FPG Kart Republic. All the while, Blake Nash continues to open up the throttle out front. Diego Ramos, now having gotten back clear again on Paulie Massimino, has started to really hit his stride, but he's going to need some major fall off from Nash to be able to close up more than 3 seconds. A 101.596 for Diego, a 101.60 for Blake Nash. Last time, only a 100th of a second gain. That's not nearly enough to be able to get to the front.
Not at all, unfortunately, but continue to watch here as things progress. Nash in more than a command of this race here, 3.3 seconds, because it is just continuing along here. Ramos still trying to find something to give here. Diego Ramos in 2nd place, just consistent through, and Paulie Massimino in 3rd, continuing to run through as we have what has been an interesting race continuing. 3.5 minutes to go.
We had some reports earlier. We were confirming them during the couple of laps of maybe some slight raindrops. Look at the tiny specks of green in between Akron, Youngstown, and Canton. That's kind of between those 3 cities where we find ourselves here in Salem, Ohio. But the sun is still shining, and as unpredictable as the weather has been and how it plagued the second moto for the OKN Stars drivers yesterday, it appears like it's going to hold off for now. Alex Sharma is out. Turn 3. Another one in a problem zone this weekend. The Vice Racing Kart Republic driver is done. And in terms of the lap time updates, Diego Ramos and Paulie Massimino, they're starting to really hit a stride here. They are pushing forward and in the same position that Blake Nash was the last time we ran the OKN Stars, because he was hunting down Massimino and Overbeck for a lot of the main, and James Overbeck was just able to let the clock run out with enough of a lead to score his first career OKN Stars victory. And as he mentioned in his interview with Alex, how bummed he's been over the last 2 major race weekends, that he came in with a major run at the championship in both the U.S. Pro Kart Series in K100 Senior, and here at the Star Series in OKN Stars with the points lead. Now this will inevitably become a drop round for him, and all the pressure will mount towards Trackhouse Motorplex, where those 2 on screen duked it out for the title in the final few laps last year. And I wasn't sure if the speed was going to materialize, but Blake Nash is holding stable at the 101.5s. They gained 2/10 last time by, Bradley.
And as they come through, gaining just 10s here with 1:40 to go isn't going to do it. They need something major to happen, but it's the thing, it's not over till the checkered flag flies, so still plenty of time to have anything happen. 2.8 seconds the gap as they cross the line here, as Ramos really, I think now might have to turn the attention behind to Paulie Massimino. I think for Diego Ramos, I think the chance to get ahead and get forward and go for the win might have stalled, but Paulie Massimino behind definitely wants 2nd place. Any extra points you can get going out of this weekend, going into the final round, would be important here, but that is the gap there. There is Nash on the bottom of your screen. Here is Ramos, here is Massimino, 3rd and 4th, or 2nd and 3rd as they go through. Wheeler behind Ida Vea in 5th, continuing along here, but I think Massimino in these final 2-3 laps is going to turn up the dial just a little bit, find that little bit more, and be able to really go for a pass. He's already starting to eye it up. Slightly different lines into 11, slightly different lines into 8. Just doing all the right things to set this up for an amazing battle for 2nd place.
I will say, though, I think that the draft is really helping him more than most. I mean, you look at how good Ramos gets out of turn 1 here and out of 16. That barrel art really opens up the gap coming off the corners. And, well, for Diego Ramos and Paulie Massimino, that lap was maybe a little bit a sliver of hope as they gained nearly 4 full tenths. Alex, with just seconds left on the clock, what's there from you?
Yeah, I spoke to Paulie before the race, and I wanted to kind of let this race materialize before I spoke about it, but I asked Paulie what he's been struggling with, and he said, listen, it's kind of a head-scratcher because they can't tell if they're down on power or at too much grip, and it's making it feel like it's not coming out the corners. I'm watching Paulie's go-kart, and it seems like that's the case. It looks like he's almost got too much grip in the middle and exit of the corners, and it might be showing here on the exits. And like you said, Xander, I think the draft is helping him more than himself actually driving.
And that's, of course, bad news if you're a Paulie Massimino fan hoping he can get one more spot. But for Diego Ramos, never say die. 2 laps to go, 2.5 down to 2.3. It would still take a mistake, but we've seen it already this weekend alone with how treacherous it is to navigate this place. Blake Nash put in a good lap that time by. That might be the last really fast time around that he needs to bleed down this 2.3 second cushion that he has built up. And as crazy as it sounds, with how high caliber Diego Ramos is, he has still yet to taste victory on the OKN Stars stage. Last year and this year, more times than he can count. A bridesmaid, but never the bride. And even in the championship finale at the night fight, he stayed in the wake of Massimino the entirety of that main event and came up just 1/10 of a second shy of a championship for PSL Karting. And sadly, this tale, all too familiar for the Brazilian. He was first across the line in Charlotte, but a penalty for contact with Chase Cassiat-Lee took him off the top step. And now he is watching the leader close in towards him, but still just stay too far out of reach. Whereas Blake Nash is headed for home here. What a day he has had.
It's been such an amazing day for Blake Nash, a great weekend for Blake Nash, you have to argue here, as well as he's going to come through 6. I mean, look at that, 2.3 seconds, the gap behind. It is closing, as you said, but just not enough. He looks over the left shoulder, he looks, and was that a little shrug I saw? Just a little okay, as second place really is up for challenge between Ramos and Massimino going through 8, 9, 10. Here they come through. The second place battle will go. Blake Nash sails into the sunset. Ramos not so comfortable.
Final time to the back sector of the racetrack. Ramos versus Massimino. These points could play a big factor in the championship fight. But for Blake Nash, he's about to assert himself into that. A podium at Newcastle and out of turn 16, Blake Nash, the California kid, wins the OKN Stars Earthquake. And to the line for P2, it will go the way of Ramos over Massimino. Henry Wheeler will finish 4th. Frankie Ayadavea, P5. And Chase Cassiat-Lee, a valiant effort here to get all the way from the back of the grid to P6. The only difference from him to the likes of Pettit and Malkin is they just never were able to bring the fight to Blake Nash in that final. The 64 leads from green to checker as he heads for the scale line, victorious.
Blake Nash, you were a part of the first ever OKN race here in the States a couple years ago. Now you're a winner on the national scene. How good did this feel?
I mean, it feels amazing. Like to take that break for that long and then to come back after, only doing two races back into this package and win it in that fashion, it feels unbelievable. So
talk about the work that's gone into it. I mean, from when you last drove this package up to this year, Newcastle, you almost got the win there. What type of work's gone in, even from Newcastle to now?
Honestly, just work back home with my team. I can't thank my team enough at Nash Motorsports, and the material that I've been given from OTK USA, it's been just phenomenal. I haven't had to touch it really since session 1. And I have to thank Greg Bell at Mega Power Engines. The power's been unreal. I haven't had one complaint since I bolted it on, even in Indiana. So yeah, I have to thank my team. My data guys, Angus and Enzo, for all their hard work, my mechanic, Tito, and everyone back home that's watching. Thank you.
What does this do for your confidence heading into the rest of the year, not only in OKN, but in KA and X30, whatever you decide to run?
Yeah, I mean, I've been up there, almost every race, and it feels like we've been there, but just a little bit short. So to finally get this monkey off my back and to get going again, I feel like I'm going to have some really good momentum going into Indiana.
Thanks, Blake.
Thank you.
We'll take one walk back here to a driver in red, Diego Ramos. We spoke before the main. You said you think you have what it takes to get up to Diego. I think the pace just wasn't there for you. Sum up that race for me.
Yeah, like I told you before, we try something different straight for the final, and yeah, it didn't work well. But yeah, P2 is still good points for the championship. We need to also look and there's the car. The car felt amazing, but he had a bit more power everywhere.
You talk about more power. Was that the biggest difference for you? Is there anything maybe chassis you could have done, or just a little bit down on power?
No, just down on power.
Thank you, Diego.
Thank you.
And you heard Diego Ramos there saying just not much more he could do on with the 31 of Chase Gassie at Lee. Again, our Coastal Inc. on board here as he went through, and that battle from the back of the grid, P18, all the way up to P6 in the end. It was such a great run from him and such a great run from so many of our drivers, even though there was heartbreak in so many different ways as they go through the scales here. Blake Nash, Diego Ramos, Pauly Massimino, your top three. Henry Wheeler, Frank Iadaveda, Chase Gassie at Lee, your number 6 finisher. Maverick McKenna, Andriatos, Olds, Kuhn, Fox, Corelli, Lornco, Cheatham, and Kohler, your top 15 here as they go through. OKN Stars going through and out, and that's going to leave just one more moment through. This is Pro Stars coming up on, and it's been a wild weekend here for Pro Stars. And if you haven't followed it through the whole weekend, to tell you what, we'll walk you through what's happened. Myers, Boydiso, Morgado, and Bowman, those top 4, that's been the talking point of the weekend, along with Ronan through. It was early moments there in Moto 1 going through as we had multiple karts spinning through, out, big battles all the way through. There were some bumper pushes, some shoving, some different things coming through, karts hopping off of wheels. It was big moments time and time again, and we heard many times through the talk and the conversation being that contact, that run through, but we heard from AJ Myers, this is karting. This is fun. That was his response. And the end of Moto 2 as he went through. Mateus Morgado battling it through with the 278 of Boydiso, battling it through again and again. That's 278, that 262, but it was the 278 of Boydiso who was able to hold on front off of run number 2 here in Moto 2. They got a second restart, the 254 dropping off down with the 211. It was battles all the way through. Yet again, watching the 262 trying to battle through. Morgado having to work his way forward. Morgado being frustrated through in Moto 2, but able to eventually work his way past that number 200 of AJ Myers and the 278 of Boydiso, and then shuffling back through, still trying to find the run around. But Morgado, time and time again, putting the kart in places. Was it not aggressive enough? Was it too aggressive? But either way, it didn't matter for him, because in the end, Boydiso able to find the win there. And again, as I said, he said it's karting, it's fun. And Morgado said, I'm here. What do you want? This is where the fireworks are going to end up on the weekend.
And to add on to that, one more final note, just like Moto 2 had post-race intervention, Pro Stars Moto 2 did as well. Andrew Boydiso got hit with a 3-position blocking penalty that then gave the Moto 2 win to Mateus Morgado, and it's promoted the Brazilian to the front row. He'll start alongside the Magic Man himself, AJ Myers, and Boydiso will roll from third. And we touched on it a good bit in warm-up, but I want to also make sure we give a good bit of light to some of the promising storylines that we'll be keeping tabs on further back. How about some drivers that'll be starting tail end Charlie, like the 2 rolling by us right here? Josh Conker and Brent Cruz. 2 very different but very interesting storylines for both of these drivers. And the weekend, well, their Saturday, it was rough. Brent obviously struggled a bit to his standards. The driver, the last time we saw him in a gearbox kart, he was in the top 10 at the Super Nats, one of the youngest drivers ever to compete in a shifter category, and he was phenomenal there. However, a mid-qualifying effort then had him in the mess on Saturday. 2 DNFs for him, and then Josh Conker couldn't make it on Friday, had to work. Got in Saturday morning, turned a few laps, had DNFs on his day as well. They'll roll from the rear, but from the front, Mateus Morgado is standing with Alex.
Thank you, Xander Mateus. You just kind of mentioned to me around a track like this is going to be a long race. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's really, really long. 17 minutes plus 2. Will be crazy one, but that's what we got to do. What we are here for, and then we are the pros. So yeah, let's give it a good show.
Obviously, some of the Magic guys, one of them being Boydiso, kind of made it difficult for you yesterday. If the same situation happens today, I mean, are you going to show the same respect?
Yeah, respect keeps. Nothing wrong with me. I think everyone's doing a good job there. Team. If it was another driver from our team, maybe we would help each other as well. But totally understand how they work, and I hope we can make a good race.
How have your hole shots been this weekend? I think the Magic guys have kind of had you covered there. The first time on the front row, you feel confident?
Yeah, I like starting in the front row. Sometimes go good, sometimes go bad. So let's see.
Thank you, Mateus.
Thank you.
Mateus Morgado, a perfect display of drivers getting a good night's sleep and being able to kind of get in the zone. No emotions there. He's like, all right, I understand it. I get it. What Andrew and AJ were able to do to be the first across the line in both motos, it was a perfect team play on both angles. And he's like, yeah, we've done the same. I understand, and I know how to attack. And AJ's the one with the target on his back. Let's hear from him. Alex.
Thank you, Xander. You mentioned it best, right? AJ, you're the one kind of with the target on your back, but I will say this condition is more like what we saw from Moto 1 where you're really quick. Are you feeling pretty confident?
Yeah, I mean, we know the struggles of the year, and now we go out there and try and prove them wrong and all the hard work we've done, see if we can get the result.
Is it on your mind at all, kind of the struggles you've had on Sunday?
My mind's on winning the race and just clear mind, clear heart, one goal.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
Good to see a smile on AJ Meyer's face. I think he's really been happy to have his wingman back, Andrew Boydeshow, the dynamic duo, if you will, of Magic Kart USA in the opening couple of seasons. Seems to be really having, as they've coined it in the Magic USA and Checker Motorsports camp, a homecoming weekend, a bit of a family reunion, being so close to their base here in northeastern Ohio.
I think what was interesting for me this morning, again, walking around, 7:45 this morning, the Magic carts were up. They were going. They were already running the carts well before 8 a.m. They were in, setting things up. Everybody was head down focused. They showed up. They know what they came here to do. They want to win. They want to 1-2. And there was no question for me that is going to be where the challenge is coming from. Is Eli Fox here in the 222. I do want to show him some love as he starts 7th on the grid, and will be running through. I think Eli Fox, if he can do anything, he wants to be up in the mix as well. He's going to do what he can to really get his way forward.
And for Eli Fox and the Factory Fury GP Kart squad, this year has been a lot of near misses, but still a lot of promise. And the number 222 Indiana native was kind of penciling in King of the Castle as maybe one of those weekends he could break out and get himself a podium. Maybe today's the day, just a state over and some consistent runs so far. We're getting set to get the drivers underway. You can see the final few mechanics are moving to the wayside, and we will send it down to Mazda Motorsports Scholarship recipients' own Camden Hibbett for the command to fire engines for 28 Pro Stars.
On behalf of Mazda Motorsports, myself, Camden Hibbett, and the Stars Championship Series, drivers, start your engines!
Nothing like the sound of a 125cc, nearly 50 horsepower, 6-speed shifter kart rolling off the grid, and 28 power plants come to life. AJ Myers and Mateus Morgado on the front row, Andrew Boydeshow and Justin White for Maranello USA and Carblos Racing Engines on row number 2.
From there we go Gavin Bailiff and Vincenzo Saraceno in row 3. Eli Fox, Ian Quinn going in on row 4.
Mitchell Lowry and Jonathan Ocasio on row 5. And Adrian Renedin starting buried in the pack off the crash in Moto 1. Back on the inside of row 6 alongside the other Factory Fury GP entry, Charlie Steins.
From there, we're going to go Jay Irwin starting P13 and Annie Rule in P14, Branko Germinal in P15, and Ashton Hinkle in 16th place.
Final 2 rows in the top 20, Osley Cheek the 4th and David Carmody. And Forrest Adams, rookie, making his Pro Stars debut off an age waiver to the inside of Logan Hickman.
From there we go Tegan Poles and Luke Powers, 21st and 22nd, CJ Bowman and Miles Danoff, and then the final 2, Brent Cruz, Josh Conker, the 270 and the 254. We talked about they haven't had a great weekend. Let's see what they can do moving forward.
It's going to be fun to watch as the field gets into place. A.J. Myers, Mateus Morgado, Boydishow, White, Bailiff, Saraceno, and the final few as we follow Rusty Ferguson down the front of the grid, getting the drivers into their boxes and primed for the start. And we will wait a moment for the Track Systems North America lighting system to go red. The Skycam's ready. We got one that has stalled. Osley Cheek in the factory cart has stalled. They're going to try and quickly refire him. He's got it. They got to push him back into his place before too long, or they'll have to wave them back around. They're going to give them maybe one more moment here, and then I think we'll see. All clear. To the lights we go. Pro Stars from Quaker City. Round 3 of the Stars Series. And away we go. Off the racetrack for A.J. Myers. A.J. Myers wide in turn number 1. Andrew Boydishow to the lead. White to second. Gavin Bailiff to third. A.J. Myers and Mateus Morgado now back into the 9th spot. Myers further back. The front row to the wayside. What a chaotic start, and the Magic Man is getting swarmed in the midfield.
Myers with a hard-fought start there. Not sure what happened, but he is dropping like a fly, and he will pull all the way off, all the way down. He falls into last place through 8. There is a big issue with that cart. His weekend is done. A.J. Myers first to last before the first lap is done.
A heavily bent rear axle for A.J. Myers, and the championship title defense takes a major blow. Now, Justin White has taken command, and in the same way, he got his first career win. Hit with Myers and Morgado colliding in February. Justin White picks up the pieces and gets the lead as Andrew Boydishow was wide in turn number 8 on the opening lap. Gavin Bailiff also got his first win in March. He's up to 3rd, and now he can play spoiler in this title fight as he is hunting and all over Boydishow. Then behind, what a start for Ian Quinn. Up to 4th, Saraceno, Fox, and the Frenchman Adrian Renaudin is there as Boydishow drops a tire. Here comes Bailiff to the inside an 8. Boydishow doesn't want to let him go, and Gavin is going to get the elbows out, and they'll make contact. Off they go. Boydishow, Bailiff around. Andrew Boydishow said yesterday, try to pass me, boys. It's not a good time, and it's not fun for you, and he did not want to let Gavin Bailiff by at all.
Boydishow there with a strong showing of force to hold that pace in, and we'll see what happens there post-race. That is going to be an interesting look at there for that incident. I do not envy any of race control who have to make decisions going through, as Alex has Adrian with him.
A.J. Myers. A.J. Myers down in the scale line in already. Alex.
AJ, what happened in turn 1?
I mean, they started us way too close to turn 1, and yeah, I mean, he's on the outside of me. Neither one of us give, and that happens. It's funny he complains of the driving style we do, but it's the same both ways. Just shitty situation.
Thank you, AJ. Apologies for the language there.
A.J. Myers understandably frustrated as he and Morgado drag raced. Camera's still on. Wild Thing himself, Andrew Boydishow, trying to fend off the Kiwi. Jay Irwin right behind him here as they roll to turn 11. Irwin on a charge after a so-so Saturday that had him start from 12th. He had an issue in Moto 1, a good drive in Moto 2, and now he is hunting P6. A big send by Charlie Steins there. That was on the inside of Mitchell Lowry. Move him to 8th. White still leads to Quinn, to Saraceno and Renaudin. What a battle up front as we go back to Alex here with Mateus Morgado.
Mateus, what's your side of turn 1?
Nothing happens. Racing incident, I guess. He was in the inside, he missed the corner and hit me. Nothing wrong with me, just racing incident, man. I'm very calm with those things.
Thank you, Mateus.
Thank you.
Battle for the lead continuing to rage on as we got another one off. It is one of the Mark Steele Motorsports entries. Luke Powers is off there in the infield. Here's another look on the side, a replay there. That'll be queued up in a moment. Or no, that's a Henkel. I think that's Ashton Henkel, sorry, in the 280. Out. But they're all stacking up behind Justin White. Adrian Renaudin, I think, is probably the next fastest car in the top 5 right now. Eli Fox is 5th at the end of this train. Then it's Boydishow continuing to play defense to Jay Irwin.
Such great battles going through here all the way around. This, again, the fireworks are here for Pro Stars main event. They continue along here. The leader, Justin White, just trying to hold things together. Second place is getting feisty, though. Watch behind that 286 of Quinn. Definitely feeling the pressure. And Saraceno there in third. Boydeshow down in P6 is going to want to try to make a run. Was able to get past Irwin. We'll see if Boydeshow can find the pace to get into the top 5 as we look side by side. Here's the replay of the turn 1, lap 1 incident. Morgado, Myers get away. And then just out of camera shot, the fireworks hit.
Yeah, the two of them, they got off the line pretty even. And as they made contact, AJ ends up being the one going off. And Morgado goes wide and loses some time. And as well, while we were side by side there, you saw Jay Irwin all out of shape. And we've got a new leader. Or do we? Justin White is gone for the picture. Now Ian Quinn makes a mistake. Vincenzo Saraceno to the lead. Reneden into second and moving forward. Quinn to third. Eli Fox now drops to fifth as Boydeshow gets by. But Jay Irwin, while we were looking at the replay, there was equal chaos on the left side of the screen. He was trying to get by Boydeshow into 8. Boydeshow was covering it off, and Irwin locked the rears, and it spun him to the right side of the track. He had a great job to hold on to it, but now he's back to P8 a couple seconds away.
Adrian Running in there looking for the move down the inside to 8. Was not able to make it stick, but is out of line now coming through from Saraceno into turn 9, 10, 11, 12. Still looking for something to be found where he can. He's continuing to push and give pressure through. Ian Quinn still in the mix, and Andrew Boydeshow up into 5th. Eli Fox in 4th here. Battles continue all the way through the front of the field here. Rodinen still trying to push through. Saraceno has tried to open a gap, hasn't been able to, has lost the position, and it's Adrian Rodinen that's up in the lead now as Saraceno is now on the attack in second.
Adrian Reneden able to get by over in turn number 11, and he has been one of the fastest through the weekend. Probably next best to maybe AJ and Morgado. Saraceno doing everything he can to stake with him, but I think we'll start to see the Sodi car driver begin to open up the throttle now as they hit the backstretch. Boydeshow, a marked up Magic Kart, contact with Gavin Bailiff, contact with Jay Irwin, and he is still hunting in 4th. He's not terribly far back from these two. For Vincenzo Saraceno, he's a former Pro Stars champion, but that was before the invasion happened of all of this international level talent just 2 years ago. And so now it's been a bit of a dry spell, but it's new colors for him in 2025 with Scott Presti and the Presti Racing Croc promotion team. They've got him tuned up in the best spot he's been so far. As we take another look from the side, Morgado kind of had a nose ahead. AJ, as Morgado said, was on the inside, dirty part of the track, pops the curb, and Morgado right on his door. Both drivers very respectful in their interviews, saying, look, this was a racing incident. I got nothing wrong with that, no issues. We were both gunning for the lead. Problems for Mitchell Lowry. The 221 is around, out of 10th in turn 2. And Justin White is back there. I don't know what happened to the Maranello driver that was in the lead earlier on, but Andrew Boydeshow, having gotten by Eli Fox now, is still having the 222 on his heels.
If you are a Magic Kart fan and you are not a fan of Andrew Boydeshow, it has been a hard-fought weekend for them. They have been head down, focused, ready to go, but once those karts have hit the track, something has just happened, and it's not come to fruition time and time again here. Boydeshow, we'll see what happens as the 221 is being lifted over there. Lowry's kart done, dusted. I saw him pumping the throttle, trying to keep that kart going, wanting to try to keep racing, but wasn't able to. Reneden up front in the 212 has pulled out a half-second gap over Saraceno, and Saraceno has pulled out half a second over Ian Quinn there. Top 3 really settled into a rhythm here. Half-second gaps for all of them as they go through. As Boydeshow is a second off of Quinn. I think the best of that Magic Kart has been used up in terms of tires, in terms of grip, and we're half race distance. He runs wide. That's going to open it up for Eli Fox to come through. Eli Fox to the inside, gives a little tap, but then slides it wide through 8, and that is going to open things up. Fox is off, and there's the 206 of Irwin, who is off. His weekend looks done.
Jay Irwin now out. A number of championship contenders are out of this main, and a mechanical failure at round 3 of the championship last year was the major sticking point for Jay Irwin then, and it knocked him out of the points fight to the point he didn't continue to the night fight and didn't finish the year off. He knew he was out of it. Now, with a drop round this year, he may have a chance still, but this will be the drop for him, for Myers, for Morgado, and Adrian Reneden. He missed round 1, he won round 2, so he has no drops to burn, but if he wins today, all of a sudden, he enters with arguably the most momentum and the best odds to Trackhouse to close out a season that wasn't even on the original plan. The Velocity Racing Sodi Kart crew hired Adrian Reneden this year to lead their camp. The factory driver has spent most of his career, in fact all of his career, racing in Europe. The Frenchman, his first time in the States was in Texas in March. He impressed there, only to have a mechanical sideline him. Then, round 2 of this Pro Tour at Cincinnati was good, and now here, after a win in Newcastle, he is all of a sudden gearing up for a Stars Championship Series bid. And behind him, what does this do for the championship hopes of Vincenzo Saraceno and Ian Quinn? They're still close, and Quinn has had a rough go this year, just like Eli Fox has had, and sadly, Fox now down even more. But look at all the position changes as well. Here, we're still just past halfway. 5th and 6th flurry by. Charlie Steins into 5th, up 6 spots, and behind him, CJ Bowman, second to last row of the grid, is up 16 positions to 6th. And Quinn is still pressuring Saraceno up there for P2, but another 16 spots have been gained by the man in 8th as well. Bowman to P6, Fox in 7th, and Brent Cruz on the Leading Edge Motorsports CRG. Similar to Reneden, a last-second call and a rough Saturday has now led to an incredible charge on Sunday from dead last to 8th.
What an amazing run from CJ Bowman and Brent Cruz. I mean, just absolutely bottom of the grid, but that's perseverance showing. 5 minutes, 40 seconds left to go, and they are showing that you can continue that run just like we saw CGL in the last main event go, was really running through and able to fight all the way up for a P5 finish and go through, as Reneden has pulled out a 1.1 second lead over Saraceno up front, continues to just push forward and go, and is really looking good up in the front as he goes through. Meanwhile, more battles continue all throughout the field. Boydeshow has dropped well off of Ian Quinn. 2 seconds the gap between them, and it continues to open there. Steins 5th, as you said. Charlie Steins looking really good. I mean, all through the field, there are many drivers that have capitalized off of the chaos of this start and some of the moments from the beginning of this race that have allowed it to sort of move them up and give them runs. And you have to be thinking about, in 2 months, what you're going to do for the final run of the points. Where can you find yourself and what can you do? Andy Rule up into P11 there, and Gavin Bailiff in 10th place was in 4th.
Gavin Bailiff was 4th, and remember, he got spun by Andrew Boydeshow in turn 8, and he has now gotten his way back into the top 10. An incredible recovery drive. Look at how dirty the right side of this TKG Bureau Art go-kart is. There is still a ton of dirt and debris inside the wheels, and yet Gavin, after watching the entire field flurry by him while he was facing the wrong direction, kept the engine rolling, refired, and is now trying to charge towards the front of the field. Look at this moment. Andrew Boydeshow trying to close the door. Gavin roots him up a little bit, had the nose inside, contact still. He did get a tick of help from Ian Quinn behind, and then once he and Andrew were locked together, around he went, and he is now charging back up the board. It may still be a drop round, but even still, with the way it all will shake out, he will have a chance in North Carolina. Boydeshow, a one-off run here, joining for the second half of the year, won't be in the championship conversation, but maybe it would be for Charlie Steins or CJ Bowman. Pair of top 10s for Steins so far this year, I believe. And if he can roll this one, it'll be another consistent points haul for the 288. But CJ Bowman, last time by, fastest kart in the entire top 10. Impressive for only his second year behind the wheel of Pro Shifter Kart Package. and now he's knocking on the door of 5th.
I tell you what, September 11th through 13th at Trackhouse for Night Fight is going to be a fight in this class. It's down the inside. We see a great run there going through, keeping the dreams alive for so many people. Bowman going through here and getting past Steins there, the 228 against the 288 with a great dive there yet again through turn 11, as we've seen time and time again, continuing to move forward here and go through. Magic Karts now 4th and 5th have recovered up. Boydeshow in 4th. We'll see what he can do here, as the gap is 1.6 seconds between him and Saraceno. We'll see if there's anything to compress here and give, as Bowman will be there in 5th, the teammate behind. Teammates, sometimes they come together, sometimes they race nice, sometimes they don't. Let's see what the Magic Karts decide to do here, as Bowman arguably has more pace right now than Boydeshow, and we'll see, is there a swap in position to be found?
And again, still with time left, Vincenzo Saraceno is fading very fast. A 61 flat. That was a half second slower than Reneden. 4/10 off the likes of Boydeshow, Bowman, and Ian Quinn. He is dropping like a rock. He's trying to hold on for the final few laps of this main. And while CJ Bowman is closing on Andrew Boydeshow, Boydeshow has helped develop and coach CJ Bowman just as much as AJ Myers has in the Magic Kart camp. I would be super surprised if we see Boydeshow make it difficult for Bowman. But even more so, go back up front. Last time by, Ian Quinn, a 60.48. Is Adrian Reneden taking it easy, or is Ian Quinn really on the charge? We see Reneden here choking one of the 2 air inlets to try and save the motor a little bit down into turn number 8. I think he's still in conservation mode and managing the gap, but we'll have to keep tabs on it. If Quinn gets too close and he can't find more speed, we might have a late race charge from one man who has failed to finish more sessions than anyone else this year, and a lot of them outside of his own volition. Ian Quinn, last year at the opening round in Charlotte, impressed everyone, going from 16th to 2nd. And this year, he was able to build off the momentum of last season, but it has been anything but. He has struggled all throughout the run through the spring and the summer to this point, and now he is 2nd, staring at his first podium of the year, and on top of that, maybe a run at the lead. But last time, it evened back out as Reneden found a little bit more.
I think Reneden was in conservation mode. Remember, these races are approximately 20 minutes long, 17 minutes plus 2 laps. Rounds out to about 20 minutes for them on track, give or take a little here as they go through.
Swap in the Magics. Andrew Boydeshow allowed CJ Bowman by. Now CJ Bowman is only a 1.5 seconds away from his first career podium. And it's such a cool story for this young man in particular. CJ Bowman trying to hunt down right there Vincenzo Saraceno as Reneden heads for the double sticks. 2 laps to go. CJ Bowman lost his father when he was in the cadet ranks, and the entire karting community here in the northeast of Ohio and over across the border in Pennsylvania stepped up, and he and his mother stayed in the sport off the help and support from so many families. And he has blossomed into a very promising young talent. And now, as he crests the hill at turns 4 and 5 and over to 6, he is chasing his first career podium here in his Pro Shifter campaign. What a charge today has been, and what a way to get your first trophy in the class if you can do it from 22nd on the grid. He's already up an impressive 18 spots. He needs one more to stand on the box here. The white flag will wave this time. He's running out of laps. He's a 2.25 seconds away from Saraceno as Adrian Reneden is exiting turn 16 and headed to the final lap around for a potential 2nd win in a row. His only 3rd ever start in the States. He won at Newcastle, and now the lead is up to 1.8 seconds.
Reneden has been so consistent and smooth the entire time. Watch him come through here, and he's looking very in control of his kart. Quinn, 1.8 back. Not much that can be answered to 1.8 seconds. Bowman to Saraceno, that gap would be amazing to watch close. It is a little bit big, but we'll see what can happen here as we see Reneden, Quinn, and Saraceno on your screen. There's Bowman in fourth, and Boydeshow under pressure from Steins for P5 there to see if he can hold on here. But Reneden, such a great run this weekend, and it all comes to fruition in the end. Back-to-back wins in 3 rounds. That's crazy.
No doubt. It is still, though, far from unexpected for a former KZ2 European champion. He felt he had the pace the moment that they set foot in Texas. A mechanical took him out there. It was a decent run in Cincy, but the king of the castle is now the winner at the Earthquake. Adrian Reneden wins in Ohio.
Reneden was such a great run there in the end, winning by a second and a half over Ian Quinn. Saraceno, such a great charge there. And for Andrew Bowman, if he had had a little bit more time, or for CJ Bowman, if he had had a little bit more time, you have to wonder, would it have been his first podium? I almost guarantee it would have been. Andrew Boydeshow in P5 going through, was able to hold off Charlie Steins in the end, half a second gap there. Brent Cruz in P7, half a second gap there as well. Justin White ends up in 8th place. Eli Fox, P9 here in the Factory Fury Motorsport cart. And then Gavin Bailiff in the TKG cart in P10 there, as we have the burnouts from our race winner.
Adrian Reneden victorious here at the Stars Championship Series Earthquake for Velocity Racing and Sodi Kart. And what a way to get it done. A wild opening couple of laps. He had to work his way up the field, and once he got the lead, he never looked back. Adrian, first, those were some pretty solid donuts here. It looks like you might be getting a little more practice at that now with your second in a row win.
Yeah, I learned from my error, so I make some mistake in the donuts last time. Now it's good, so I'm happy for this.
Talk to me about this package. I mean, from Houston to then on to Cincinnati to now King of the Castle and now winner at the Earthquake. You felt confident in this piece the moment you got behind the wheel. Has that been the case?
Yeah, I told since the beginning of the year, the package is really great. Just miss some luck sometimes, it's racing, but now I prove that the package is maybe the best, if not. And really, really happy of all the work of the team. Just unbelievable the chance they give me, so I'm really proud to be with them, and this victory is for us.
Talk to me as well. I mean, this track, drivers have talked about it being physical. That was a lengthy main event. Walk me through the main and how you're feeling.
I have a good sleep tonight, sure. I think like everybody there. I don't know, the track is really good, just a bit bumpy, but at the end it's same for everybody, so it's okay.
And again, congratulations, Adrian. Who would you like to thank?
Thanks. I want to thank all my team, Velocity Racing, Ruben, Flo, my mechanic, my engine tuner, Carlos, and a special shout out to the guy who fixed my chassis was bent after the first hit.
How about that? Congratulations, Adrian.
Thank you.
Adrian Reneden, the winner from round 3 of the 2025 Stars Championship Series, the Earthquake, and the first Pro Stars winner from Quaker City Motorsports Park. As he heads to the scale line, we'll go there as well. Over to you, Alex.
Down here at the end, Quinn, I mean, can you imagine this P2 result after the weekend you've had?
No, I couldn't. It's like Moses when he parted the Red Sea. I just saw Andrew and some people get into it. AJ's on the first corner. It's like, oh my God, and I was in the opportunity to win. And I could have made some smarter decisions out there. I could have blocked when I didn't. But all in all, I'm really satisfied for it. It's good for the points, real good for the points. We're going to get a good, going to jump up the ladder a little bit in this race, and that's what I'm looking for in the long run.
Talk about the year you've had, Ian. I mean, it seems like the pace has always been there. I think we knew you had the result. You were doing it last year in Pro Stars, but this year the luck hasn't been there. What's been the turnaround for you?
Honestly, you put too much weight on yourself and you manifest bad thoughts, you manifest bad energy, it tends to rub off on you in your sessions. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm psyching myself out going to some qualifying sessions or races. I make a stupid decision, or I'm at the mercy of somebody else's problem, and it just you need to, I guess, think good thoughts. I guess that's real rich, but you just need to keep your head up high, because you're not going to do yourself any good thinking about what went wrong, what's out of your control. So you just got to keep your head up, and keep looking forward, and you'll find it.
One last thing. I mean, how good does this feel to moving forward into the rest of the year?
It's definitely a much needed pickup, you know, with how Scoos has been going this year and everything, and the luck. You know, I've been looking for a result that shows up on the championship sheets, something that, you know, puts me in the eyes of everybody, something that I can market. So it's you know, it's a win-win-win-win-win situation over here, and I can't be happier.
Thank you, Ian.
Thank you, Alex.
Let's take a step back here to Presti Racing. Let's go to Vincenzo Saraceno. Vincenzo, really quickly here, but I mean, the first podium for Presti Racing on the Pro Stars side of things. I mean, how good does this one feel?
No, it feels good. A little bittersweet because I was in the lead for a few laps, but I as soon as we were in the lead, I knew we had the pace, but then I felt Adrian behind me a little bit, and I realized I was like, oh, you know, maybe we went a little high with the pressure, and I saw he was like really pressuring me, so I tried to hold on a little bit, but he made a clean pass in the back section, and then no, it was honestly just a lot of chaos throughout the race, a lot of crashes, a lot of dirt on the track. No corner was the same every lap, and a big hole in my hand, so it was pretty painful to drive. But I mean, Presti on the podium, you know, hopefully more to come.
We spoke on the Friday when you were really quick during the practice sessions. You said you get adapted to racetracks quickly. Has the pace always been here, you feel like, for the Presti Racing crew, or is this something that you guys kind of figured out throughout the weekend that you can take into the next races?
Yes and no. We worked a lot in these last few weeks off the Pro Tour schedule, doing a bunch of local races, testing here and there. But no, I really do learn tracks quick. But you know, it doesn't matter at the beginning of the weekend. It matters what happens at the end. So you know, gotta go good from the beginning to the end, not just in the beginning.
What's it going to take to repeat this result for the rest of the year?
Hard work and back to work tomorrow to you know, keep grinding and keep going faster.
Thank you, Vincenzo.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Congratulations to our top three. A big smile out of Vincenzo Saraceno for Presti Racing on the box for the first time. Before we sign off for the Mazda Motorsports Pro Show, well, let's take a look back. So many moments that we'll get to dive into after the weekend concludes. But man, what a Pro Stars main event to kick it, or to end it off. First, of course, though, got to give top honors to Blake Nash. He was incredible in OKN Stars. OKN-J, incredible stuff from them with a masterclass run through the field for Little Sizzle, Isaac Malcutt. Just an incredible drive and a way to keep your head cool even when things get a little bit wild, as it did. And a top honors from the crowd to Blake Nash as well. A perfect drive in OKN Stars. And for Adrian Rennanen, Saraceno put it best. There was crashing, there was chaos, there were battles all around, and he said, yeah, he learned from his mistakes from a month ago. Got a little better at the burnouts. And we'll see you next time as we get set for more action from Quaker City. We go to the members only main events with the support divisions.